Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Literacy, and today we're going to be writing the second paragraph for our recount of living through an earthquake. So to start us off this morning, I would like you to see if you could improve this paragraph. Now, you don't need to rewrite the whole paragraph, but could you spot some places that you could improve it? Okay, so for example, have a look at maybe the first section. What's really wrong with it? Why isn't it a great paragraph in this first little section here? And then looking through it, what else could we do to improve this paragraph? So you can pause the video if you need a little bit of time to think and discuss how we could improve this paragraph. All right, off you go. Okay, thank you for doing that. So if we have a look at this paragraph, we can see there are some issues. For example, in the first section where it's got that unforgettable day was the most terrifying day of my entire life, a day that I will never forget and always remember for the rest of my life like it was yesterday. This section isn't really a good introduction to the paragraph because it doesn't have any repetition that's easy to see because it's too long, it's too wordy, and it loses the impact because a day is sort of lost inside that unforgettable day, the most terrifying day, a day I'll never forget. Like, it just sort of gets lost in there. So this section could be a lot shorter and sharper, this section here. So we could do like shorter, sharper sentences. That would have been better. And in the second part, early that morning, I woke up to the sound of my alarm like usual. There was nothing to suggest it would be different to any other day. It was just a normal day. I was feeling quite tired. I got ready for school. It's really boring. So we could have used conjunctions to lengthen the sentences, make them more exciting. Okay, make it more engaging for the reader to feel. So, for example, I was feeling quite tired. However, I forced myself to get ready for school. Okay, I woke up to the sound of my shrieking alarm, like usual. Just those little noun phrases and conjunctions to make our writing more exciting. Okay, so well done if you spotted any of those. So, quick recap. What is a recount and who is our audience? So pause the video, talk to somebody, or say it out loud. What is the purpose of a recount and who is our audience? Off you go. All right, thank you for doing that. So the purpose of a recount is to retell an experience that you have lived through, usually a terrifying experience. And our audience is anyone who wants to know things about us or wants to know what it's like to live through a certain type of experience, such as an earthquake. And today we're going to be rewriting paragraph 2. So we're going to be focusing on what might you have been doing. So we're going to be thinking about what happened before the disaster. So we've talked about waking up in our first paragraph. So our second paragraph is going to be about like getting to school and starting our lessons and whatever else we're going to be doing. So have a think. What sort of things do you do in the mornings as you're arriving at school? Maybe do you say hello to friends? Maybe do you walk upstairs and hang your bag and coat on the hook? All right, so let's have a look at the paragraph that we are going to be rewriting. So in our model text, it said, after eating breakfast in the hotel, we headed down to the sea, which was only a few hundred meters from where we were staying. The scorching sun was baking the golden sand which ran between my toes as I walked along the beach and found the perfect spot. Above, the sky was clear blue with not a single cloud in sight. It was very peaceful. As I tried to read my book, my brother, James, was annoying me by flicking sand, so I decided to dip my feet in the warm, salty water. So our focus today is going to be on expanded noun phrases as we describe where we are and what we're doing. So have a look, what expanded noun phrases can you see in this text and what's the effect? All right, so the ones that I can see are golden sand, okay, the perfect spot, the sky was clear blue, in the warm salty water. So what's the effect of that? Well, it creates a beautiful picture in my mind. I'm imagining being in this beautiful idyllic island in Thailand, and I'm kind of jealous that I'm not there. So it makes my writer more interested in what they're reading about. So today our structure is going to focus on So thinking again about expanded noun phrases and how we use them appropriately, an expanded noun phrase needs to have 2 adjectives. So a noun phrase has 1, and an expanded noun phrase has 2 adjectives that describe a noun. For example, a house versus an old derelict house, and that makes quite a difference. okay? And we can also use prepositional phrases that tell me where something is or when something is, such as an old derelict house on top of a hill. All right, so our structure today is going to follow where did we go, we're going to describe the setting, and what were we doing. So let's jump straight into it. My turn, your turn. So the first sentences that we're going to be writing is where did we go? So in our model text, it says, after eating breakfast in the hotel, we headed down to the sea, which was only a few hundred meters from where we were staying. So in our text, yesterday we were getting up out of bed, so we could start talking about as soon as I was ready, or after eating breakfast, or when my friend Jamie arrived, or as soon as I got to school, or when we arrived or arriving late, or just as we got there, whatever it is. So I'm going to come across to my book where I am writing about where did we go. So I'm going to say that I started heading to school because yesterday in my writing, I had water bottle, and there's nothing to suggest I got dressed for school. So I left it at I got dressed for school. So I need to continue because it's not a brand new day. I need to continue the day with what I said. So when I finished getting ready, I said goodbye to my family. And headed for school. Okay, so I've now said what I was doing. Where was I going? Well, I'm going to school. Notice I did not have a conversation with my family. There's no speech marks, there's no dialogue, there's no characters. This is not a narrative. It is not a made-up story. So I don't want you getting distracted and wasting time with conversation. Nobody is speaking in today's paragraph because this is a recount. I mean, factual. I'm getting to the point. I'm not waffling on about mum wished me luck on my way out the door and dad patted me on the head and asked if I still had my reading record in my bag. No, just short and to the point. I finished getting ready, I said goodbye to my family, and I headed for school. All right, my loves, your turn. So I'd like you to pause the video here, and I'd like you to go away and write, where were you going? Hint, hint, we were all going to school. All right, off you go. Okay, welcome back. Thank you so much for doing that. So now we're going to be describing the setting. So this bit of our paragraph is going to be a little bit longer. For example, in the model text it said, the scorching sun was baking the golden sand, which ran between my toes as I walked along the beach and found the perfect spot. Above, the sky was clear blue with not a single cloud in sight. So we're going to think, what was the weather like? Maybe what was the sky like? What were people doing? For example, the weather, we might say it was fine. It was warm, maybe compared to other days. It was lovely and bright. Maybe the sky was quite cloudy or strangely clear with no clouds or clear blue. And maybe what were the people doing? Well, the pavements were almost empty, the busy street maybe was full of people, or were they walking about minding their own business? Or were there other adults and children heading towards the school? Okay, so we can use some of the ones up on the board, but I'm going to jump over to my turn and I'm going to describe, I still want this feeling that everything was good. So I'm going to say like it was a nice warm day, okay? The weather was pleasantly warm. And the streets maybe were empty. The weather was pleasantly warm and I strolled, again using those vocabulary for effect. I'm not saying walked, I'm strolling, I'm casual, I'm calm, I'm having a good time. And I strolled along calm pavements. Happy days. All right. Might also talk about what was the sky like. Maybe a pleasant breeze wafted by. I could hear birds chirping in the trees. Whatever you want. I'm going to use a nice fronted adverbial that is positional above. So I know up at top. Above the sky was beautiful blue with a few clouds floating by. No, that sounds beautiful. I'm very excited by this. Maybe I could say I've talked about people and what I could see and feel. So maybe I'll just say like there's a breeze. I could hear birds tweeting. Birds. I don't want to be so fantastical that I'm thinking that this is like a magical London. Like London's still London. Let's not go pretending we're in the countryside. Birds. Maybe I could be more specific about what type of birds. Birds chirped from their nests. Okay. So I'm happy. I'm pretty I've described what I'm seeing as I'm walking along. So your turn now. What are you seeing? Describe your walk to school. How did you enjoy it? What could you see, smell, hear? All right, so pause the video now. Go away and write a lovely, beautiful description of the setting. Remember, don't be so dramatic or beautiful that you think this is like an imaginary fairy tale land. It's still a real place. But we really want the reader to understand that it's a normal day, okay? So go away and do that, and once you have, come back and press play. All right, well done. Last but not least today, what were you doing, okay? So for example, in our model text, it said, it was very peaceful. As I tried to read my book, my brother James was annoying me by flicking sand. So I decided to dip my feet into the warm, salty water. And we could start that with I've got the wrong bit on my, that's the wrong one. I could have something like it was like any other day, nothing felt unusual, everything was normal, nothing seemed off. Just to remind the reader that, you know, it was a lovely day, that everything was, you know, peaceful, okay? So coming across to my book, I'm gonna have a write down. I'm gonna say big arriving at school or walking through the gates or seeing other children. Something. Maybe you're gonna meet a friend. Maybe what are you gonna do? So I'm gonna say arriving at school. Arriving at school. Arriving at school, maybe someone was waiting for me. My friend, let's call them Sarah. Sarah was waiting for me. Okay, and I don't want to leave it there. I want to say that we sort of go into the building and, you know, set up for the day so that then tomorrow when we write about the earthquake starting, it happens when I'm in the classroom, not in the hallway. So the bell rang. So lovely conjunction there. So what did we do? We headed upstairs. We headed upstairs to our classroom. On, maybe I'll say where it is, on the second floor. And began our lessons. Again, I did not have any conversation between me and Sarah. I did not say what lesson we were doing because it doesn't really matter, okay? This is a recount. I'm telling the facts, okay? I'm not telling a nice story about how Sarah and I are best friends and she was waiting for me and she was, oh, wow, it's lovely to see you. No, it's factual recounting. I'm just recounting. I'm telling you exactly what happened on that day and I'm not wasting energy on details that don't matter in the story, okay? So make sure you're not writing a long elaborate story about your friends doing something together and that's what your teacher said and then you started your math lesson and then your reading lesson. Not the point of a recount, okay? All right, so go away and do that, and once you've done that, come back and press play for our editing. You can pause the video here. All right, welcome back. So the last thing I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to edit my paragraph, and then you are. So I'm looking for punctuation, grammar, spelling, and ways to up-level my work. So when I finished getting ready, I said goodbye to my family and headed for school. So I think I need a comma for a fronted adverbial in here. So I'm looking for the full sentence by itself. I finished getting ready, I said goodbye, doesn't make sense. Finished getting ready, I said goodbye, doesn't make sense. Getting ready, I said goodbye to my family, nope. Ready, I said goodbye to my family, nope. I said goodbye to my family and headed for school. Excellent, so I know that this sentence, I said goodbye to my family and headed for school, makes sense by itself, which means I need a comma to separate the additional information at the front. When I finished getting ready for school, or when I finished getting ready, comma, I said goodbye to my family. Weather, that's not how we spell weather. There are two types of weather. I didn't manage to do either of them. Crossing that out, W-E-A-T-H-E-R. The weather was pleasantly warm and I strolled along calm pavements. Above, the sky was beautiful blue with a few clouds floating by. Birds chirped from their nests. Arriving at school, my friend Sarah was waiting for me. There's two bits of information there. I arrived at school and she was waiting for me. So I don't have a conjunction saying, arriving at school, I saw my, no, so it needs a comma to separate the bit of information. So finding the main clause, my friend Sarah was waiting for me, that's the main clause. So I need a comma to separate. Arriving at school, my friend Sarah was waiting for me. The bell rang, so we headed upstairs, plural, not a single stair, to our classroom on the second floor and began our lessons. Lovely. Happy with that. So now I'm just going to up-level it. Can I add more interesting vocabulary? Maybe I can say, above the sky was beautiful with a few, I'm going to describe, fluffy clouds. I just want you to picture beautiful fluffy clouds. All right, your turn. Go away, look for commas in front of adverbials, spelling, punctuation, grammar, and then go and up-level your work. Once you've done that, take a picture and upload it onto Seesaw because your teachers love to see your work. So that is the end of our lesson today. I hope you've had a fantastic day and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.